Are we okay? We got to fucking, we've got to do the fucking shit that we for fucking drug abuse. No! Are you listening?
Sean here, and today we're going to be talking about why Lorne can't move forward. Why he just can't seem to get past the past. It's also why some people just can't seem to get past that big game or mistakes they've made when they were younger. No one is really immune to it. No one can escape it because we all have regrets. Regrets are normal, but this is much, much deeper and stronger than what a typical regret is. As far as I know, the only thing close to regret Lorne has ever shown is crying when he didn't get what he wanted, and he's trying to manipulate, fake apologies. You see, this monster wouldn't regret what he did. He would regret the outcome. He would regret the fact that he screwed up, not to them, but that he made the wrong decisions that didn't get him what he wanted. And I'm not even sure he would do that. But I do know that he regrets not being more careful in the sting. There's a difference between regret and remorse. I don't think Lorne could even comprehend what remorse is. I think regret, his mutated form of regret. We all have regrets. The guys that are caught in the big game, if I only would have made that tackle, if I only would have caught that ball. And a lot of times they're not even based in reality. It's just that one little thing that they failed to do. When a missed catch in a game of 150 passes and 6 touchdowns, that's not going to affect it very much, especially when you lost by 14, and this is talking to a specific person. Those are little regrets. I'm bipolar, and unfortunately when you've gone untreated for a while, and this is why I know Lorne doesn't have regrets, you'll be sitting there and randomly during the day, bad memories will pop in your head, embarrassing ones, things you remember that are a lot worse than they actually were. And I'll catch myself cringing. Sometimes I'll even say something if I'm alone. It's not something that I enjoy. And my fear is that people like Lorne who are bipolar, because he doesn't have any regrets, he's not going to be dealing with that. The only regret I think he has, and this is the way his regret works, I don't regret what I did. I don't regret that I had to go to prison. I regret the reason I go to prison. I regret that I did not have sex with Kayla. This is a guy that said he was freaking turned on by the thought of these people kidnapping little girls. Jesus, man. The fact that Tiffany stayed on the phone with this guy, the fact that Tiffany didn't just snap. She's a freaking hero too. She's a hero. She tried with all of her might to get this guy to show some kind of remorse, some kind of real regret, but everything was about him. Why didn't I stop myself? Because I ended up getting busted. If I'd have just stopped myself, I wouldn't have gone to prison. If I'd have known that NBC was going to be there, I wouldn't have gone to prison. Freaking NBC, Chris Hansen and Xavier Von Erck. The core of his problem, and I need to stress this, there are people who are broken, and I was broken for a time after my divorce. There are people who are broken, and they can't see the future. All they can see are the issues they're having at that precise moment, which is why everything is a crisis. People who feel like they are stuck in a rut, hopeless, helpless. But there are also people like Lorne who cannot plan for the future. They have no plans. They just want to exist in the moment, and they're not even thinking about living in the moment. They are just lazy and careless. I will say this about Lorne. He is stupid. I mean, real stupid and gullible and naive, and he projects all of his failures onto other people. But at the core of this, Lorne, he can't see that he has no plans for the future. It's like he subconsciously knows that he's never going to be anything. He's never going to amount to anything. And why that doesn't bother him, I have no idea. These catfish women, think about it, they give him a promise for the future. They are so important to him because he can look forward to when they're coming out. I'm going to get this one to come out. If they can only see my greatness, if they can only see how my love and my belief in them, it's all they'll ever need. So these catfish women, they give him promise and hope. And I think that's part of the reason he is addicted to them so much. Take that away. Take them away. And let me say this. I'm going to be the first person to fucking say this. Lorne still lives in his mom's basement. Not physically, but emotionally and mentally from his trailer. It may be a distance away, but he's still living in his mother's basement. I've seen people who move away, and technically they should have never even moved away because they're still acting, relying on, desperately needing their parents. We talked about it yesterday a little bit, about how he needed Aunt Sharon and his mom to approve of his catfish women. You're going to love my mom. Lorne, you don't even live with her. Why would it matter? And again, he still lives in his mom's basement, just at a different location. He will forever be emotionally and mentally attached to that room he had in that house. Maybe I'm not the first to say it, but I'm the first person to say it like that. Some people, we have laughed our ass off talking about how he's stuck suckling on his mother's teat. He just can't get away from it. He needs her. Mother's milk. The only woman who ever showed him any kind of kindness. I don't even know if you'd call it kindness. I think just desperate to get this guy moving forward and away from her. She can't live her life. He's always bothering her. Mom, mom, mom. So he lives in the moment where his failures are accepted. They become normal. He doesn't have any plans for the future. He doesn't even have plans for now. He's so far stuck in the past. His present becomes his past before he even moves past it. Those things he's done in the moment, the very next day, that's in the past for him. Well, I'm not worried about that. That happened yesterday. I'm going to move on. See? What happened yesterday, that's gone, Jamie. I'm a better man today. 20 minutes ago, I spoke to a counselor. I'm a better man today. But if he was really planning for the future, if he was really working on bettering himself, he would find a way to do it. We briefly mentioned the probation and parole and the therapist, and they are assigned to him. They don't have to talk to him. I mean, they do have to talk to him, but they technically don't have to spend a lot of time on this guy. They have to see he's a hopeless case. If I was his counselor, and we had to do exercises like this in school, if I was his counselor and I was listening to him, I would be looking at a guy with dead eyes, a blank stare, and I would be asking him, Lorne, what are your plans for the future? Well, today I gotta go. Come on, man, tell me you don't agree. Today I gotta go. And woman, sorry, sexist. Oh man, I'm an idiot. Anyway, moving on. Tell me what your plans are today, Lorne. Well, I'm going to move some dirt over here, over there, with that big, fat, drunken tongue of his that's swollen from alcohol use and possible head trauma and many strokes. But I think Lorne can't see past what he's doing today. That's why when Winnie asks him, or any of them ask him for anything that he's going to be doing, starting your own business, I am going to start my own business. Okay, Lorne, that's a delusional hope, just like these catfish women. It's not a plan. You don't have any plans. You don't have any... And when I say plan, I just mean things he's been thinking about of what he's going to be doing in the future. I'm going to tell you what I think happened with his septic business. First, we know Lorne should never be in a position of authority. We are seeing it right now with the Hollywood meltdown. We're seeing it with the comic book industry imploding. And we're seeing it with comic books like the Rippaverse, who came out and said, we're going to keep politics out. We're making a comic book for everybody. It's going to be fun. It's going to be adventurous. And they only expected $100,000. They had $3.6 million and more comic books sold than the mainstream comic books for a comic that's never even been out and cost a little bit more, actually quite a bit more, because it was a graphic novel. Now, the point I'm making is they had planned and it worked out well. Lorne, oh man, he gets in a position of authority, and I think he lucked into the septic business. He probably had a couple friends he was doing it for, and then maybe word got around, and Lorne wasn't prepared for it, and he had gotten away with a bunch of mistakes and a bunch of bullshit because he'd worked it on Sharon's house and his mom's, maybe his brother and sisters and Roy. And I think he gave his brother and sisters money. Well, let me help you. I'll help you. We talked about this. Shin's talked about it, Andrew, everybody else in the chat. I am nothing special. And a lot of what I'm saying is just what everyone's thinking. So I'm cool with that. I want people to have something where they can come back to and go, yeah, that's what I meant to say. Or, well, I disagree with that, but I understand a little bit of where he's coming from. And trust me, I go back when I miss these streams and I read. And I'm like, wow, that's a really good point. But if I ever make that point, taking off somebody, I will credit them. Because I'm so impressed with the level of intelligence in this community, and that's not pandering. It's so weird that in a community making fun of pedophiles, I know this is off topic, making fun of pedophiles, these predators, we've got real victims in here trying to get through their issues. They are so smart. You would expect, communities like this, oh, these guys are crazy. But no, they're extremely intelligent. There are people in this community who have passions. We know Lorne doesn't have any passions. Sex. He desperately wants to have sex. And I know he wants to have money, but he doesn't want to work for it. Just like with the sex, he doesn't want to have to work for it. Because talking on the phone to these catfish women, they've enabled him and allowed him to just be this complete monster. And he's going to keep doing it, not because of them. And I think this is another part of his problem for planning for the future. It's like someone playing the slot machines. I'm not winning here, but I'm going to keep putting money in because eventually I'm going to hit the jackpot. And I think Lorne's plans in life, eventually something's going to land in his lap. I have had things literally land in my lap, but it was the result of hard work. Getting noticed for your hard work. Praise. When does he get any praise? Why can't you say anything good about me? I went over and helped somebody move bales of hay or some wood around. I set a fire for somebody in their backyard because they didn't know how to do it. This is what he considers success. I know there are successful people in the community, a lot of them. And if I ask them, what are your plans for the future? Oh man, I hope to get a better job, maybe move out of the state. One of my kids, they want to get the hell out of Kentucky as soon as possible because they just feel like they don't belong. And I understand that. And that's why I got out of this state. I came back, I have my reasons for coming back, too much to get into. But what I'm saying is, I did what I wanted to do. And then I did what I wanted to do. And I did it again. And I kept going until I would hit a brick wall and I'd work on it. Lorne's not going to work on it. Lorne, here are a bunch of jobs you could take. You could put a lot of money away, man. You live at a place where it doesn't cost hardly anything to live. So why can't you plan for the future? Why can't you put that money away? He can't, because he's still stuck in the mistakes of the past that were not mistakes on his part. Things that other people did to him. Things he created, of course, things he actually did to himself, but things that other people did to him. Now, what would I say to Lorne? What could you tell somebody stuck in the past? You would have to force them. And this is why he'll never get better. Nobody puts baby in a corner. Nobody tells him what to do. Lorne, I bet you his therapist in his class, how are you going to get past this, Lorne? How are you going to cope and deal with, and what are you going to do to better your life, to get past the mistakes you made? And that is where it ends. Because when you tell him the mistakes you made, he's going to give you the same answer. My head wasn't right. I'm still trying to figure it out. Well, there's your problem, Lorne. You are now in your 50s and you're still trying to figure it out. Seriously. That's why you're stuck in the past. You admitted it to Debbie and then you quickly retracted it and you went back and you said, I'm still trying to figure it out. I just can't figure it out. Because he knew that if he came out, he had to have figured out at some point, oh crap, I had just admitted to Debbie that I wanted to kidnap a kid and take her across state lines for real, and then it turned me on. And then he withdrew it and he went back to, oh, I just can't figure it out. It makes me sick, bothers me. So when you have somebody stuck in the past and they just can't move forward, and their present becomes the past immediately after it happens, and they have no future, you have to hold their hand and you have to try to help them and be there for them. But with Lorne, it's going to take somebody in a position of authority, somebody to slap him around and say, dude, it's time to move on. Admit what you did. We'll put you on a lie detector. I will ask you the reasons why you did what you did. And we'll see if you're lying to yourself or not. And every time it's going to say a lie. And then, no, he claimed that the lie detector wasn't working. But that's what you would have to do to get him to move forward. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one.
What?